Today's math lesson is 3.10, but it is part 2. You will need out a purple color and a red-violet color. And make sure your journal gets set up like this. The title is Dividing with Fractions. Please make sure you put the correct date in this box. And then that you get this story problem written. It probably would do you best if you just push pause on the video and get that all written out. Okay, so you should have written, there are 4 people in Marston's family and his mom only made 3 waffles. How can Marston's family share the waffles equally? So we are going to model this out, okay? We are going to write an equation and we are going to model. When we divide, we're going to make sure we understand both. So let's come over here and write the equation first. Remember, an equation means solve for x. Okay, so the equation is, does it begin with 4 or does it begin with 3? Remember, yesterday's lesson we learned you always start with what you have. So are we going to take the people and cut them up or the waffles and cut them up? Please tell me that you said waffles. It is the waffles. So the equation is, I'm going to take 3 waffles and I'm going to split them up with 4 people, and that is going to give me x, or my answer. That's the equation. Okay, here is the model. You're going to need to know how to do both equations and models. The model is I draw out this equation. So I begin with 3 waffles. Okay, there's my 3 waffles. Will you color those waffles? Let's make them, well, we use purple here to underline 3. So let's use purple to show here are the 3 waffles that Marston's mom made. She's so nice. I'm going to split them with 4 people. So you have to do a thought process here. Is there enough for everybody to get their own waffle? No, we had this conversation last time. If this first number is smaller than this number, you're not going to have enough to get one whole. You're going to have a fraction of an amount. So what you do is you're going to divide each waffle into 4 pieces. Let's write that off to the side here. Divide each waffle into 4 pieces. So they all can have a piece of each one. That's what we're going to do. Divide each waffle into 4 pieces so they can all have a piece of each one. So I'm just going to go like this. Okay. I could use all the lines going the same way, or because it's fourths, I could go like this and make them kind of like dashed lines. There's one waffle that's split, 2 waffles that split, 3 waffles that get split. So now those waffles are all split up into that amount. Sorry, everybody. It's my phone ringing. That's so fun. Let's give that a try and see if that ends it. Okay, well, we're just going to keep doing math to that song. That's fun. Okay, so we've split up these waffles into 4 pieces. So now they can each have a piece, right? There's 4 people. So basically, each person gets 1 piece from this one, 1 piece from this one, and 1 piece from this one. So should we just call those people A, B, C, D, E, or A, B, C, D? Let's do that. This is person A, person B, person C, person D. So A, B, C, D. They're all going to get 1/4 of each of those waffles. So the equation 3 divided by 4, right? So here we had 3 divided by 4. That's what we did. But what it ended up being was that they're each going to get 1/4 size of the waffle. So it actually ends up being 3 times a fourth. And let's write in parentheses what that means. Each person gets 3 1/4 sized pieces of the waffles. So when I had 3 waffles and I divided it by 4, it was like giving 1/4 sized pieces. Okay? And I got, do you know what the answer is? They're all going to get, each person gets 3 1/4 sized pieces, which just means x equals 3/4. So I solved that problem in a lot of different ways. I showed the equation. I did a model. I showed how it actually ended up being multiplication. And I solved the answer here. Do you remember the quick trick from yesterday? If it's a whole divided by a whole, so we're going to put this just in a cloud over here. Whole over whole. So you just start with what you have, 3/4. Excuse me. Okay, so now that we have this amount with x equals 3/4, we know that each person is going to get 3/4. So what we did here, splitting these up, is called fair share. I am sharing all the waffles fairly. Okay, this is a fair share model. I am showing how to equally share those waffles out. Okay, I want to take a break from the journal for a minute, but leave it out because we're going to come back to the waffle scenario and give different amounts. Let's go ahead and use the red violet to outline this cloud that we drew. And then we're going to use our purple to solve for x right there. Okay, so now we're going to take a break from the journal, and I want you to find in your math workbook page 111. It looks like this at the bottom, and it has waffles at the top. We are actually going to pull out page 111, and we are going to turn it over. We're not going to actually start on page 111. We're actually going to work on page 112, and it looks like this. Divide by a unit fraction. Page 112. Okay, so I'm going to slide my journal out, and I'm going to work on just this page for a minute. Will you make sure that your name and number are up here in the green? Okay, this is the problems that we're going to be working on. You don't need to worry about that right now. But let's go ahead and look at their practice problems. Number 1, how many 1/8 are there in 1? Write a division equation to show this. So if I have 1 whole, how many, if I took that and divided it into 8ths, equals x, that's the equation, how many would it be? Well, they've shown us a picture of it. If this is a whole, and I divide that whole into 1/8 size pieces, how many pieces total do we get? X equals 8. There are 8. You want to count them out? We can. Make sure you number this. Okay, number 9. How many 1/8 are there in 3? So I have 3, and I'm cutting them into 8ths, equals x. This is the equation. Now I will solve for x. Well, if there's 8 here, and 8 here, and 8 there, there are 24. Whoops, I should have circled the whole thing. There are 24 1/8 size pieces. There were 8 1/8 size pieces in 1 whole. Okay. Why can you also use the multiplication equation 3 times 8 to show how many 1/8 are in 3? So why did this end up being 8 times 3 instead of 3 divided by 1/8? why can you also use the multiplication equation? You can use this because there would be 8/8 in each whole. And there are 3 wholes. So that's why you would end up doing 3 times 8. Okay, look at number 11. How many 1/4 are there in 5? Write a division and a multiplication equation. Well, let's start with the division one that we know. So we have 5 wholes. And I cut them up into 1/4 size pieces. How many would that be? 5. Well, not 5, sorry. This would be 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. So we end up having a total of 20. Oh, we have to do the equation? Too bad. I'm doing it like this. You can do it like this too. So that's 1. This is the division equation. Now let's use multiplication. Well, aren't there 5 groups of 4 right here? 5 groups of 4. So we're trying to show through this process that division is the opposite of multiplication, but that they work hand in hand. If I'm dividing by a fraction, it's the same thing as multiplying it by whatever that whole would be of the fraction. So if I'm thinking about wholes for fourths, wouldn't I need 4/4? So dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by, it's called the reciprocal. So we're going to use this word today, and I just wanted you to know what it was. Reciprocal. Use your purple here. A reciprocal means you take the fraction and you reverse it, or you flip it. So instead of 1/4, you flip it and it becomes 4, or 4/1, but we just call that 4. So the reciprocal of 1/4 is 4. Look right here. The reciprocal of 1/8 would be 8. The reciprocal of 1/8 would be 8. So reciprocal means I just take the fraction and I flip it. So it would be 4/1. Pretty cool. We're going to skip number 12, so you can just take your purple and kind of color that in. We're not going to do number 12. We're going to do number 13 though. Write a division equation, then solve. Olivia made 9 sandwiches and cut each one into 4ths. How many 4ths does she have? So we know that she has 9 sandwiches. So take your pink. She has 9. This is what she has. She's going to cut into 4ths. So I begin with what I have. She has 9. She's going to cut into 4ths. 4ths look like that. And the equation means I write it like this, equals x. Then we have to solve it. Okay, well, let's do what we've been learning up above. If I'm dividing by a fraction, all I'm doing is timesing by the reciprocal of that. So 9 divided by a 4th also means 9 times 4. So, well, it says division, so I guess we don't need to write the multiplication problem. But if you want, we could draw 9 sandwiches and cut them into 4ths. You would end up getting 36. How many 4ths does she have? I guess I should write a sentence. She has 36 4ths. She has 36 4ths. That's how you would write that. So we're going to watch a little video later, but I'm just going to say it. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep the first number, change that to multiply, and flip this, or to the reciprocal. Look right here. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, so I kept it, change, Change this to multiply. Flip. Flip 1/4. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. Pretty cool, huh? So same thing with here. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep the 9, change, divide to multiply, and flip 1/4. When you flip 1/4, it becomes 4/1, but you don't have to write over 1. You could just say 4. And the answer is 36. So cool, huh? So cool how that works. Okay, let's try number 14. The 10 members of a hiking club will walk 9 miles. Each person will carry the food pack for an equal distance. So they're going to carry the food for an equal distance. So how far will each hiker carry the food pack? First of all, think about this. It's always the most difficult thing in these problems to figure out which number goes first. It really is quite difficult. So I want you just to visually think about this. 10 people are hiking, but they're only hiking 9 miles. So will they all have to carry the food for a mile or more? No. If the hike was 10 miles, sure, they would each carry it for a mile. But the hike is not even equal to how many people there are. So they are going to be carrying it for a fraction. That's why we did all of this stuff on the last time we did this on 3.10. We really thought through, is there going to be more than enough or not enough? You're going to end up with a fraction here because they're only going 9 miles. So each person doesn't even have to carry it for a mile. So this is a whole divided by a whole, but you're going to end with a fraction. Super interesting. This is a whole divided by a whole. You just have to know which one comes first. So do you put the 10 first or do you put the 9 first? Well, you're supposed to be ending in a fraction. So if you put the 10 first, 10/9, you would get 1 and some more. That wouldn't make sense. So you have to put the 9 first. So you put 9/10. That's how you do this. But they want the equation. So the equation would be 9 divided by 10 equals x. This is the equation. Here's the quick trick. 9/10 is not improper, and you don't need to simplify it. So the answer is 9/10. How far will each hiker carry the food pack? For 9/10 of a mile. For 9/10 of a mile. They will each carry it for almost a whole mile. Almost. Because there's 10 of them, and they went almost 10 miles. But not quite. So interesting. Okay, number 15. Damon has, I love it right away when they tell me what he has. He has it. So I put it first. He has a 6-pound bag of cat food. He feeds his cat 1/8 pound every day. So he divides that amount and gives the cat 1/8 pound every day. That's the serving size. So we're going to write we're going to write equals x because that's part of the problem. But this is a serving size. This happens all the time. When you buy ice cream or when you are weighing out things, if you're making jelly or jam, or if you are going to serve people at a party, you have a certain amount you start with and you decide how much to divide it by, like how much should each person get. That'll tell you how many days the bag will last, or how many days the cat can eat the food, or how many bowls of ice cream you could have. So how many days will the bag last? 6 divided by 1/8. So I could draw out 6 things and divide it into eighths if you want, or you could do the operation. To divide by a fraction, we're dividing by a fraction. Here's a tip. Keep, change that to multiply, and flip. How do you flip 1/8? It flips to 8/1. And anything over 1, you can just ignore or not even write it if you don't want to. And it equals what, everybody? 48. How many days will the bag last? For 48 days. That makes sense. He has 6 pounds and he doesn't give the cat a pound every day. If he gave the cat a pound every day, the cat could only eat for 6 days. But he only gives him 1/8 of a pound. So there are 48 eighths in 6. That's what that means. There are 48 eighths in 6. Okay, number 16. Jody and 7 friends share 12 oranges equally. Jody and 7 friends. Whoa, that's interesting. Jody and 7 friends. So that is a total of what, everybody? 8. They share 12 oranges equally. Okay, so do I do 8 divided by 12? Let's come over here and write that. 8 divided by 12? Or do I do 12 divided by 8? Which one of these is correct? I want you to think about it before I just tell you the answer. Think it through with your head. Jody and 8 friends are going to share 12 oranges equally. So there's 12 oranges and only 8 people. 12 oranges, 8 people. They should all get at least one, and then they're going to split up the rest. So which one of these looks like the right thing? Would you be 8 over 12, or would it be 12 over 8? This is just a fraction. This would mean that they did not have not enough for everyone to get a whole. This one was there was more than enough for everyone to get one and some more. So this, my friends, is the correct one. You cannot just immediately start writing out your equations without thinking it through first. Okay? So plus, we don't take, this would be the friends. We don't cut up the friends. No. We start with the oranges and cut them up and divide the oranges. We don't divide the friends. No. No cutting up friends. We do not cut up people. We cut up food or items or time or whatever it is, but we do not cut up people. So you begin with the oranges. So the equation is 12 divided by 8 equals x. And then to solve for x, you just go, okay, well, what was 12 over 8? Eight goes into 12 once, and then it would be like taking away 8 from that. Ooh, 1 4/8. You should know that 4/8 is a half. So give your answer as a mixed number. Did it? Oh, we should have just looked right here. Give your answer as a mixed number. You know it has to be the bigger one has to be on top if you're going to have a mixed number. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a fraction and not a mixed number. So how many oranges does each person get? Each person gets 1.5 oranges. Pretty cool. All right, you'll never guess what we're doing. We are going to be cutting this out. We are cutting out, I think, I kind of want all of it. What do you think about that? Let's see if we can do all of that. But I want the modeling in. I don't need, I guess, all of this, unless it would fit. Let's try it. I wish I would have scooted it over more. Let's try to cut out all of what we've done. And we did skip number 12. So I am going to do it like this. Here's numbers 13, 14, 15, 16. And then I'm just going to do 1 through 11. But I am going to keep the pictures. So I'm just throwing away number 12. I'm going to try and keep the modeling pictures to put in my journal. So cut. You don't need your name or anything. Let's keep the divide by a unit fraction. Let's keep the orange title. Okay. So when I'm done cutting, you should have divide by a unit fraction. Numbers 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you should have numbers 13, 14, 15, and 16. But I don't need the space on by the numbers. Sorry about that. Okay. So I have these two things, and I'm going to try and fit it into my journal. Plus, I still want to go back to the story problems about Marston's family a little bit later. But what I want to have happen here is, let's do these, actually we'll save the bottom space here for something later with the waffles. So turn the page. And on this back side, let's go ahead and put both of these, if we can get them to fit. I don't think that they will both fit because I think my modeling, so I think what I'm going to have to do, watch this, because otherwise it covers up the hole down here. I'm going to have to cut mine off. And then maybe I can save all of this little work and put it a little bit closer to it. I don't know. We'll see. So see, mine will fit. Try not to cover up any of the holes and get both of these pieces glued on here. This little piece of work, that's funny, piece of work that I cut off, I might just like try to do diagonal by it so that it fits. Or I might slide this one up and put the work down here. I don't know. You're going to try and fit all of this into one page. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.